I ain't gonna give you as much as normal. It rained a little bit last night, but it didn't rain that much, did it? You guys got it worked up muddy again. But on Sunday, I made a compost pile from pig bedding, pig stuff right there. I made that and I added some comfrey to it because I stacked it up when I mucked it out and I tried to get, it wasn't making heat. So I flipped it over and put 3 layers of comfrey in the pile when I made it. It never did get real hot, but it did get up to 150 degrees, but it didn't stay there very long. Right now, this is the 4th day that it's been 130, between 130 and 155. So now I'm going to flip it today, and I'm going to show you how I flip it. And then I'm going to add comfrey in between layers again so I can try to heat it up more than what it's wanting to heat up naturally. First thing you do is you take the top off. And by top, I mean the top probably down to here somewhere and the outside. That's all considered the top. And I prefer to use a hay fork versus a lot of other forks for flipping compost. And this, you just break it apart and lay it off to the side. And it's broke up pretty good, but when I did this Sunday, I broke it all up really good. You can use a tarp to put this on if you really want to, or in my case, I'm just doing it right on the ground. There's a fair many worms in here too, actually, so that's a good sign. But it needs to be hot. But the worms will break everything down, but the weed seeds will still be in there. So I just went and cut a bunch of comfrey down here in my wheelbarrow. And now that I got my top off, which is right here, the next step will be put the middle part on the bottom. And it's just started raining, which that's typical. You get a little rain and it's going to quit. Then you get a little rain and it's going to quit. That's how it's been anyways. So in this situation here, which is kind of shocking by the looks of this pile, the middle part is actually more bottom than it is middle, which is fine. Just something for me to remember. And that pretty much sums up the center. So there's the hot part, and the hot part now is the new bottom. I'm going to spread it out a little bit. And the main reason that your new bottom was your old center, just so that your heat will go up through the pile. You want to make sure you get it broke apart as best as you can. This pile here is in pretty good shape as far as being no lumps and stuff. So I did that. Now I'm going to put some comfrey down. Nice little layer. Now my old top's going to be my new middle. I tried doing this in a cage and on a pallet and all that. You know what? That complicates things more than it needs to be for me. Do it however you see fit, but the main thing is watching your temperature and mixing it properly, and moisture. Right now this could use a little bit of moisture, but it's not too terribly bad. I'm going to let it go this time. When I flip it the next time, then I may add some water. And a lot of times I'll put a tarp over it too, but this time I never tarped it at all. So if I'd have tarped it, I would have got more heat out of it. But at the same time, you're going to get less air flow in it, so it's not going to get enough air in your pile when you add a tarp. Or, I mean, that's my opinion. I'm no expert by no means, but the last couple of piles I made turned out really good. The old top in the middle, I need to do the same on this. This pile is just flatten it out a little bit. Now I'll add some more comfrey. You guys ate all of it. It's done. It's done. Just because you're pigs don't mean you got to act like you're eat like pigs, right? You're done. Yeah. If I have any comfrey left when I'm done, I'll feed it to you. I don't know if you can hear them in the camera or not, but they definitely like to make noise. Don't know if any of you ever raised pigs, but they are pretty cool, actually. I enjoy them. Even though they make a lot of noise. I don't know if you can hear them in the camera or not. With my mic, it drowns out a lot of background noise. But you're funny, fellas. You're funny. And there's that. That's chore number 1 for the evening finished. And then you give your pig the rest of the comfrey. There you go. They'll eat a little bit of it. They don't eat a lot of that. for the most part, they don't mess with it much. Ain't that right, fellas? They're not real big comfrey eaters. I don't know why. Though we nibble at it a little bit, but they don't eat a lot of it. They do like spinach, grass clippings, squash, and stuff like that. But as far as comfrey goes, I don't know why. Next chore on the list is get some cells started for more lettuce. We started 7 flats 11 days ago, and we're going to start 7 more today. Right now, she's going in after seeds. Keep up with orders to try to grow our sales. We need more lettuce. It'd be nice to have some more spinach, but we're struggling getting it to grow. Last 2 batches that we did bolted right away. I think I need to use more shade cloth in the garden. I bought a bunch more. So when next time we put something out, we're definitely going to shade cloth it. For somebody, this thing right here, this here works so good. I love this. This tool here is the best. It saves so much time in the field when you're putting them in the ground. This batch here, I could have made the soil a little bit wetter, but it's not doing too bad. Our best things that we sell is lettuce. It's probably by far number 1. Beets, probably number 2. Green beans might beat out beets. We didn't have any yet this season, but in seasons past, green beans may beat out beets. Probably does beat out beets, actually. Kale does decent. Swiss chard does decent. Peppers do really good. And it really don't matter what kind of peppers. For the most part, Poblemos probably does the best. Poblemo peppers do at the market anyhow. Them are jalapenos. I'm not going to say for sure which. Cherry tomatoes do okay. They pretty much pay for themselves. That's about it. But I enjoy growing them. I don't like eating them, but I like growing them. I like to figure out how to grow the big heirloom tomatoes better. I can grow them, but I'm not consistent at it. Spinach sells really good too. We're just struggling. We always sell out of spinach if we have it at the market on our table. We haven't had none the last 2 weeks. We might have a little bit this weekend, but if we do, it's not going to be much. I might not even bother with it. And that's how quick you fill 7 flats up like that. That's 7 minutes. That's 7 flats. 105 in a flat. That's 735 lettuces that will be starting tonight. Actually, she will be starting seeds in those. I don't usually put seeds in. She does that part of it. So that's that chore. So now I'm gonna put these on the table for her, and then start my next chore. So next on my to-do list is fix this spot here in the chicken fence. We have IBC totes to our shed. We got a 5-foot fence, and we got new chickens this spring, and a lot of them smaller chickens are actually jumping the fence right here, this fence, and they're perching up on this at nighttime. As you can see, there's crap all over. I don't know how long they've been doing it. We caught them. She caught them. I should say, shouldn't say we. She caught them probably a week ago doing it, and she propped the thing up, and it actually helped for a little bit, and then we cut, I think, 3 of their wings. But there's still several of them jumping up there. Some of the new ones. The older ones don't, but the newer ones do. So I'm going to put a fence up right here. I'm going to add more fence from this post here over to the building. So that's going to be next. I got plenty of fence. I got plenty of fence to do that with, as you can see. Got most of the whole roll. I just need to get a measurement and chop, put it up there. One thing that I did do off camera, I just did when I was getting that fence, because that fence was up on top of actually is up on top of the chicken coop. The chicken coop is right behind all the solar stuff, and we got a bunch of stuff up on top of it, little mezzanine. The fence was up there, but anyways, one thing I did do, everybody kept telling me in a video I posted about me upgrading our solar that I needed to put my ground on the top battery and my positive on the bottom battery. So I did switch those around a little bit ago. They say it's supposed to help equalize it better. I don't know. Will it? Maybe. I can't say it will or won't. I don't know. They were within 2 or 3% all the time, but we'll see. It made perfect sense to me because actually, and they're right, you were always drawing out of the same battery. I mean, essentially, of course, you still are, but yeah, anyways, that was one thing I did off camera. So I need a piece of fence about 8 feet long. And these scissors right here work really good to cut that stuff with. These Weiss scissors, they work really good. So I ripped a couple pieces of wood. I'm just going to zip tie this to the top of that fence post. Nothing fancy. Doesn't need to be nothing fancy. It just needs to work. Right up here like so. Leave me a couple zip ties on it. I may come back and put a screw in. I didn't realize I had that big of a board right there, but whatever I need to do, you know. It don't matter. That's fine. This will work. In case y'all didn't know either, zip ties can be your best friend. I use a ton of zip ties. That's going to work to keep the chickens in. This board here, I just ripped it, and I put a couple of pilot holes in there so I don't split it open when I screw it. And I'm sure this is going to be a pain in the butt, but we'll figure it out. Ain't gotta be nothing fancy, just gotta work. That wasn't too terribly bad. It was a pain in the butt, but it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. There. Then you go get me a couple zip ties and go on the outside. I need to go on the outside and zip tie that, but I think that's going to work fairly well. And zip tie these two together. Here comes the rain. Hopefully it does rain good. We ain't had a good rain for a while. Of course, I guess that's not true. We got about an inch of rain Saturday. Woo, baby, here it comes. I believe that's going to work for two reasons. One, it's coming down pretty hard. And two, I think it'll work. Well, I'm sure you can't see it in the camera, but it's going to work out pretty good. They definitely can't fly that high unless they come around the corner, but I don't think they will. They can't really fly that good. Chickens can't. They can fly, but they can't fly really well. So, anyways, I want to put you away for right now, and I got some more stuff I need to get done. So the next thing on the list is to get the next zucchini bed ready. I got it pretty much ready, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. This was our, before it was our beet bed, and there was a fair many weeds in there, so I mowed the weeds down and put weed fabric down, and then I already got staples in. So when I put it down, I measured where I wanted everything. So I'm going to put my zucchini will be here, so I'm going to go through and put another staple in and put my holes in these. We have squash bugs every year, and also not just squash bugs. We also have cucumber beetles. And that's one reason why we succession plant our zucchini. Last year was the first I did that, and it actually worked out fairly well for us. We'll see how it does this year. I already lost I think for my first succession of zucchini, I already lost 3 plants, I think, to the vine borers, squash bugs. So I try to keep up with it. I had a bunch of winter squash not too long ago. They're actually doing really well. I figured the vine borers would have devoured them already too, but they never did. So far they haven't messed with them, which is cool. So there's all of them. Now I need to get my burner out and burn me some holes. And for the holes, I just use a little propane torch. And I don't need much for a hole. That's really all I need. About a 2-inch hole. All I need is about a 2-inch hole like that, and that's plenty big enough for the starts I have. So I'm gonna go through and burn these. Really nice looking plants. They're almost too big to transplant, but they're still okay. What I did was I soaked them in some of my juice that you guys have seen me make my homemade fertilizer. I soaked them in that for a little bit, just to get them good and wet. Now I'm going to plant them. I only need 17. I think I got 20 or 21 plants, 20 plants, because there's four in a thing, and there's 5 of those. So, and I just started those a week ago. Yesterday is when those were started. And using these soil blockers, these things come apart. It's like ripping brownies. It just pops right out. Just take your little garden trowel, pop you a hole. Put it down in there. Cucurbits like these here, you got to be a little bit more careful than most plants, but no, honestly, they want to grow, so you're really not going to hurt them any. So I got to do that 60 more times. And there you go. For some reason, I was thinking I needed 17, but I actually planted 18. I got 2 extra ones. I'm not going to bother with them for now. I'm going to let them in the thing. They're still good plants, and I'll probably plant them in a day or two. They need to grow a little bit. They're just barely popped out of their seed. And if they do, fine. If they don't, it's not that big a deal. So now I need to go and water these in. I'm just going to get a watering can and water them in with my homemade fertilizer and rainwater. Pretty much like normal. We'll do that next. And then I have one more chore yet to do this evening. And then that's going to wrap the day up. Finally. Well, actually it's not. I got 2 more chores I want to do this evening. Water those in plus 2 more. So, but I think my lovely lady's doing my next chore that I was going to do. I think she's doing it right now. So that's good if she is. Cool. Actually, the last chore of the evening, she did it for me while I was down there working in that, watering them in. But I'll show you what it was. And it was planting this row full of beets. So this here, it would be our fourth planting of beets. Yeah, this would be our 4th planting of red beets. We did 1 planting of golden beets, so I guess it'd be our whatever 5th or 6th planting if you want to go that way. So yeah, that was all I was going to do this evening, and she did that, finished that up for me, so I didn't have to. That's going to wrap this video up. Anybody has any questions, comments? If you like this content this way, me doing evening chores or whatever you want to call this video. Um, if anybody wants to see more of me just having my average day, average evening after work, just let me know. I'll make more of these videos if you want to see this kind of content. If you don't, that's fine. But if you do like seeing what you saw, just let me know and I'll make more of these type videos. This is typical evening. Typical evening, really. I mean, it honestly is. We don't necessarily always do 15 different things, but we always do this late of things. We always are out till now or later. Normally later than this. Actually, I got home from work around probably 1:30, 2 o'clock, and so we got done a little earlier than normal. So, anyways, just gonna wrap this video up. And until we meet again, take care and God bless.